Alright, so first and foremost, I would like to thank you guys for all the support on my last God of High School video. At the moment I'm recording this, it's like really close to hitting 2,000 views, which is great because one of my goals this year, if you didn't know, was to make a video that hit 2,000 views, and I've already done that. So it's kind of good to know that I've not only accomplished my goal by making one video that hit 2,000 views, but now I'm about to fucking dominate my goal by making two videos that end up hitting 2,000 views. That's cool. And comparing it to my other videos that have like a lot of views and shit like that, it has like the most like interaction on it, so I appreciate that. I appreciate everyone who commented, disliked, liked, all of that shit. Y'all, I fucking love y'all. But now that all the thank yous and shit is out the way, I'm here to once again talk shit about God of High School. I know I'm really just at this point after my last video and after arguing with some of you guys in the comment section, I'm kind of beating the dead horse. I get it. Before I was kind of making God of High School videos just cause like I genuinely liked the series. I'm not gonna lie, there was a point where I liked God of High School until I live reacted to the last few episodes, which you guys will not be seeing my live reactions on those episodes for multiple reasons. It literally went from a series that I liked but it had strong flaws to a series I just didn't like. Like, I've never seen a series that had pacing get worse and worse and worse, bro. But I've already talked enough about how bad the pacing is. If you want to hear me go into more detail about how bad the pacing is, you can go ahead and just watch my previous video on it. Today I'm really just here to talk about something different. On my last video, a few of you guys were telling me, hey, you should read the God of High School webtoon. The webtoon is better, blah 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 blah. And my answer to all those comments were simply no. Some people understood and were, you know, cool about it, and others actually tried to fucking argue with me about it. I got called ignorant, and I feel like it was kind of just a waste of time for me to argue with a bunch of people in the comment section. Like, I really did. I feel like it's better if I just, you know, take my opinions and then, you know, give my reasons for not wanting to read the webtoons in the video. Me personally, I feel like you shouldn't have to go the extra mile to understand the series, right? And that was most of people's main reason for asking me to read God of High School. It will help you understand the anime better. And I just don't like the idea of that. I really don't. That's kind of what's keeping me from watching animes like Tokyo Ghoul, because I heard like when you watch Tokyo Ghoul, like I think like after season 1 or some shit like that, like you gotta read the manga and then you gotta continue watching anime. I heard of something like that, like you have to read the manga to understand it. I don't like going the extra mile to understand something, at least not to that extent, like to the point where I'm reading it, watching it, reading it, watching it. Like there's only few series that I've read and watched and actually enjoyed it. I don't like how I have to read God of High School to understand the anime better. I don't like that. Then it feels like a fucking chore. It doesn't feel like I'm reading it to actually enjoy the story. It feels like I'm reading it to pick up the fucking slack that the creators of the anime didn't pick up, I guess. Isn't that how you use that term? I feel like it was the people who created the anime's job to help me understand the anime, and I shouldn't have to go the extra mile to do that. Like, I shouldn't have to go the extra mile to understand the anime when I was supposed to be able to watch the anime and understand it. I shouldn't have to read the fucking webtoon. And I understand some people are like, oh man, it's Crunchyroll's fault, you know what I'm saying? I really don't give a shit. Like, sure, yeah, I agree, it's Crunchyroll's fault probably. I didn't really look into that. I don't really care whose fault it is, because I feel like no matter who's to blame, my opinion will remain the same. Some people were telling me that in the comment section, like saying like shit like, well, you should care about who's to blame and shit like that. I was like, I don't really, like, it doesn't matter. It don't matter if fucking Jesus Christ himself is to blame for the bad pacing of God of High School. My opinion is still the same. This is also like a reason why I can't really get into Boruto. Like, I know it's kind of fucking popular to just be like, oh man, fuck Boruto, I hate Boruto. And honestly, I'm starting to come out my show when it comes to Boruto. I'm not saying I've read or watched it or anything. I'm just kind of saying I see why people hated the anime, but at the same time, I feel like the hate that the anime got was like justified, but at the same time unjustified. Like, I feel like people were kind of hating on Boruto because it wasn't Naruto. But the reason I personally will not get into Boruto, because somebody said you have to like watch the fucking movie and then start from a certain fucking arc and then continue from there, and I just don't like the idea of that. Like, don't get me wrong, it doesn't sound like the fucking hardest thing to do, like watch a movie and then continue the show from a certain point. I just don't like that, like the whole vibe that gives off just does not fucking, like, I don't fuck with it. Nowadays, why can't you just watch an anime from episode 1 to episode whatever and just simply understand it? Like, you don't have to do no extra shit. You don't have to read the fucking source material. You don't have to watch a fucking movie and start in the middle of the fucking series. Like, what? Why do I have to go out of my way to understand shit? And this kind of goes back to what I was talking about in my Jujutsu Kaisen video, but why the fuck do you guys hype up shit like this? Like, why do you guys hype up anime that you gotta go the extra mile to understand? Like, if you want to fucking go on a journey that's about as hard as searching for the One Piece itself to understand the plot of a 13 episode anime, be my fucking guest. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like the God of High School webtoon is fucking trash. I've never read it. I'm sure it is good, but I'm not only avoiding reading it because I don't want to go the extra mile to understand anything. I don't feel like I have to put in that work. That's not the only reason. Another reason is because I kind of already formulated my opinion on the show. Like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and call the God of High School webtoon trash. trash. I've never touched it. But at the same time, the first 13 episodes of God of High School were basically the first 115 chapters, I think, just kind of reduced down. Let's say I did read God of High School, right? And I didn't read it to understand it. I just read it purely out of enjoyment. Since I've already seen the first 13 episodes of God of High School, I've basically already formulated my own opinion on it. Like, my opinion that I will form from reading the fucking webtoon would kind of be biased, because I'd read the first 115 chapters, which is something I've literally already seen but condensed down to 13 episodes, and I'd be able to fucking notice the flaws and shit a lot easier. Like, it's kind of like how when you're about to watch an anime or TV show and everybody else is calling the trash, and when you finally watch it, you only notice the bad shit. It will kind of be like that, kind of. Like, since I've already watched the God of High School anime, seen how bad the pacing was, I don't think reading a more stretched out, easier to understand version of that will really change my opinion. It might, but at the same time, I'll probably be able to point out the flaws a lot sooner. And I just don't like the idea of that either. If you're one of those people that think reading the source material to understand an anime is perfectly fine, that is fine. That's just not something I personally want to do, because I just feel like that's just a big fucking waste of time.